morning, Val.
Good
We
morning to
still
you.
outnumber you today.
Yeah.
I always do.
No, what? Okay.
Only on Thursdays.
Yeah,
Thursdays are special.
still, I was counting for allergy, but it's fine. Turn. Adenike Oyetunde, thank you for joining us. Welcome.
Thank you for having me. Good morning.
Good morning. Adenike is at Denike on Twitter. Adenike Oyetunde.
Yes.
Denike Oyetunde. Funmi is at Funmi Odude. Ugo Dre is at Ugo Dre. I like how your names just stick with your names.
Very
Nice.
simple.
Straightforward.
All right. If you'd like to join the conversation this morning, you can do that by going on to Twitter at smooth981fm is our handle. Follow us and use the hashtag freshlypressed9812 to share your thoughts, your views, and comment on the stories this morning. On WhatsApp, we're at 0809444091. While we are streaming live on YouTube, you can go on YouTube, search for Smooth 98.1, and you can also use the live chat option to let us know what you think about the stories for this morning. All right, let's start off with this headline here from Thisday newspaper. Adenike, I'll come to you. Federal government gives lifeline to condemned prisoners. And EPIC renames Nigerian Prison Service. So a bill that was newly assented to by President Muhammadu Buhari has given lifeline to condemned inmates who have exhausted all grounds of appeal from the lower courts to apex courts, and a number of other things, of course, including very significantly the name change. Can you please share details of the bill with us?
Okay, so the law has changed the Nigeria Prison Service to the Nigerian Correctional Service. And according to the law, the correctional service is made up of custodial and non-custodial service. And we were informed about this by the President's National Assembly liaison officer, Senator Ita Enang, and he confirmed that the bill was changed. Now, he explained that the Act made provisions for the NCS to provide one necessary support aimed at facilitating the speedy disposal of cases of inmates in court. Said the Act also empowers the Chief Judge to commute the death sentence of an inmate to life imprisonment after spending 10 years awaiting trial. And I feel like that's very key. Now, Section 12, Subsection 2, blah, 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 C of the Act, which also provides that where an inmate sentenced to death has exhausted all legal procedures for appeal and a period of 10 years has elapsed without execution of the sentence, the Chief Judge may commute a sentence of death to life imprisonment. He also stated that subsection 8 empowers the state controller of service to reject more intakes of inmates where it is apparent that the correctional center in question is filled to capacity. Now, it's very interesting and very important to talk about what the custodial services include. Now, it says that putting in custody and taking care of persons legally interned in safe, secure, and humane conditions, convey remand persons to and from courts in motorized formations, identify the existence and causes of antisocial behaviors of the inmates, and conduct risk and needs assessment aimed at developing appropriate correctional treatment methods for reformation, rehabilitation, and reintegration. The custodial service also includes implementing reformation, to enhance the reintegration of the inmates back into the society, initiating behavior modification in inmates through the provision of medical, psychological, spiritual, and counseling services for all offenders, including violent extremists, empowering inmates through the deployment of educational and vocational skills training programs, and facilitating incentives and income generation through custodial services. It went on and on and on.
I was almost tempted to clap. I'm sorry.
Say that again.
I was almost tempted to clap.
Oh yeah. Why it's very important to talk about this is because these are things that we've talked about for such a long time. But we know that our prisons are not reformative in any way, and to see that they're now intentionally on paper trying to create places where you can actually correct. I want to see how that translates into practice in the coming years. One thing that was also of concern to people is that most times, according to the law, once a bill has been sent to the president for assent, at the expiration of that assembly, there's a 30-day period. And unfortunately, this did not happen. And they were asking Ita Inang if it would affect the validity of the bill. And he explained to them that, look, the bill was not as sent to the president when it ought to have been sent, but within the time that it was sent, it still came assented to it in a 30-day period. So he's sure that that covers for whatever it is. Very quickly, they also renamed the Federal Universities of Agriculture of University of Agriculture, Makodi, Benue State, to Joseph Saswan Tapa University in Makodi. So yeah.
All right, thank you very much, Adenike. Important details there, but very importantly is the implementation and actually enforcing this new bill. Hope it will come to fruition. And then Premium Times has this next story. Funmi, I'll go with you for this one. Buhari suspends Okoi Obono-Obla, orders him to submit self to the ICPC. So the special presidential, or the chairman of the special presidential investigation panel on the recovery of public property, Okoi Obono-Obla, is under scrutiny. Indeed, he's been served a suspension letter from the president. Can you please tell us what's going on here?
Okay, so I think this is something that has been in the pipeline for a while. There have been allegations about forgery of his high school certificate by the National Assembly, and Mr. Obono-Obla has always said it's corruption fighting back.
Yes.
But now we see a move by the presidency, one that is, I think is this the third time we've had a suspension since President Buhari's tenure, when such an allegation has against one of his officers comes to light. So Mr. Obono-Obla has been suspended, and he's to report to the ICPC for further investigation. This is one of the situations that, people feel like now he'll get a taste. Almost feels like he'll get a taste of his own medicine. He's been very controversial in his role as chairman of the panel. Well, supposedly because he's one of the people that were accused of doing a lot of trial in the media. So we have all this information that comes out with respect to all kinds of people, and the legal process is not followed, so to speak. But yeah, so he's been suspended. We'll see the outcome of the investigation by the ICPC. Funny enough, the story goes to say that he defended a whole lot of his certificates except the WAEC one, and has kept mum on that, saying that he wasn't going to. Yes, but the one that people are accusing him of, saying that the matter is in court, so he won't speak about it. So, well, we'll wait and
What's the
see.
impact of this on the president's anti-graft war? Seeing one of his principals in this war is now accused of corruption himself.
Well, the reaction would have been what people would look at. Several times when we've had similar allegations against members of his staff, there's been the allegation that he was dragging his feet. I mean, it took months to suspend I think the former SGF over a grass cutting scandal and things like that. But so it's not so much about the fact that the allegation came out, it's about his reaction to it. So when we see this kind of reaction, a suspension, and then let the ICPC investigate, it's the kind of reaction that we've been waiting to see since the beginning of the administration. As to whether it's because of the person of Obono-Obla, or it's because this is the new way it's going to be, we don't know. But his reaction to it is, I think, is what will cement or destroy his anti-graft war.
All right.
Yeah, I told you that at the beginning of this second tenure, it's going to be hard.
Okay. Amen.
Adiola says, good morning. On the prison bill, we don't have power of implementation, and same goes for many bills. Nothing really changes. Jedi from Ikorodu, we sense the pessimism there. With you. Shemu says the entire correctional bill sounds like it was copied and pasted directly from the United States Constitution or something. I will Google a line from it. I'm sure none of those in charge understand a single word they're engaging. Let's
give them the benefit of the doubt, of our doubt this morning. Okay, Adenike, let me come to you for this next one. Senate may spend 5.5 billion naira on official cars for members. So we have this very interesting story from the Guardian newspaper. So the leadership of the National Assembly has begun moves to procure operational vehicles for the lawmakers and make up its dual legislative members. What is being proposed, though, amounts to 5.5 billion naira in total, and that's about 50 million naira per car. Please tell us what's going on here.
I need to declare at this point that I shall be heading to the Senate sometime soon. Well, it's wow. where do I even start from? So, well, as you said earlier, that's what's going to happen. But one important thing is that the claims that the chamber has maintained that the cars are not for the luxury cravings of individual senators, but to enhance the operations of committees. It was learned by the Guardian newspaper that the cars would be meant specifically for the chairman and vice chairman of the Senate committees. And in case you know, there are currently 69 of such committees. So it invariably means that at least maybe each member will be either a chairman or a vice chairman.
Yes.
Now, I remember that a few years ago, we were all in arms on social media complaining, and that was sometime in 2012, where we all, emphatically and we're complaining about how much was expended. But one thing that I want us to understand is the National Assembly official that Guardian newspaper spoke to on the condition of anonymity claims that the cost of the vehicle usually deducted from the lawmakers' allowances.
Yes. No,
Okay, go ahead.
Well, that's all right. Of course, it's from the allowances. We have also made a lot of noise about the allowances given to these lawmakers. And when you're talking about the fact that it's not considered as luxury, we're looking at cruiser sports utility vehicle, and if it's for operational purposes, you're looking for a functional car. And we also talk about the fact that we want to reduce carbon emissions. Shouldn't we be looking at smaller
No,
cars?
it doesn't.
Common
The size
sense.
of the car doesn't necessarily mean that it is not going to be environment friendly.
Very
because
often, it's the
because
size
we
of the
really
car.
do not know, to be very fair, we really do not know the kind of spec that this Toyota cars. You never can tell. You don't know.
Can I put this in a...
I drive an SUV that is that
They're
is
usually the
Wow.
smaller
I
cars
didn't
are
get-
usually more environmentally friendly.
Not
not
always.
disputing that.
Yes.
Not
And bigger
disputing
cars.
that. But I'm also saying that what if? I don't know. I really don't know. But I feel like one conversation that we as a people need to talk about is the fact that their claims are that the funding for the cars will come from these lawmakers. And the just ended National Assembly, you tasked them, you sold cars that worth between 11 and 20 something million and sold them to them for 1 million naira each. And you ask them to pay 360,000 naira for computers, for this and that. It raises again concerns as to what exactly is it we're supposed to do at this point in time. If we expect that the government should buy them these cars, it means that the government clearly will not and should not buy them SUVs at the cost of 50 million naira per car. So when they leave, they know that it's government property. But then you look at the Rochester Okorocha case, for instance. The government bought these vehicles, and then when they were going, it was like a parting gift. So there are many questions there's something fundamentally wrong with us. And until we start to address, clearly, it's already practice. It might not be law,
Yes.
but it's practice. And because it is, $72,000 per car.
Yes.
Just to give us a round of
Because
amount
an
of
entry
spent.
luxury car just within the range of $40,000 and $100,000. So this just falls within the average.
This is upper limit. Well, let me just tell you how much we spent as a country on cars in the past for the past three houses. We had 1.3 billion naira first time around, which caused the Okoi you're talking about. Last assembly was 4 billion, so that's 5.3 billion, and now it's going to be 5.5. So approximately we've spent about 10.8. I mean, Ugo is the money man, so I don't know, Ugo, 10.8 billion naira in three administrations. That's fair enough for
my question to them is, are they saying that every single member of the Senate does not have a car that can help facilitate the operational day-to-day runnings of whatever it is?
They would rather not use their
all
personal
know
cars
that
for
they
work.
do it because getting there is a business. Getting there, you know that there are perks that will come with the
It's
job.
attractive.
And until we stop to, encouraging this, it is not in the law. I'm sure you guys know. It's standard practice.
I like this message from Sharon. Sharon says, are you trying to compare the emissions level from a Toyota Prius with those of a Land Cruiser? We know that smart cars, we know that, hybrid cars are more economical than... But one question, although car automakers are looking at bigger cars or larger size cars
That will
in
be
that would be
environmentally friendly.
environmentally friendly, but we have a long way to go. Let's move on to this next story, Ugo. Let's stop money. Nigeria will comply with OPEC, non-OPEC output cut deal, says Kyari. So they have thought about this, apparently, according to the story. They said they're committed to the production adjustments agreed on under the declaration of the cooperation, that's DOC, between member countries of the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries and non-OPEC countries. Your thoughts on this from the General Managing Director of NNPC?
Not like they have a choice, Valentine. The world economy is in a little bit spooked right now. I think, like I mentioned, during freshly pressed. You know, Germany just got into a recession. The trade war between China and US is hovering on everyone. And like I said earlier, bonds are have inverted yield curve, so everybody's worried. So what that means is that the oil price that sort of rebounded earlier in the week has now gone back, crashed again, and it's still below Nigeria's benchmark, $60. I think oil price is like 55 now. So for OPEC, there's a lot tailwinds for OPEC, and for them, they're looking at what's going on and saying, look, how do we survive? How do we save the price of oil? Because OPEC countries, they depend largely on oil to survive. So if oil prices continue to crash, then it affects the entire members of OPEC. So for Nigeria, it's important that we also stick to OPEC cuts, which is cut the production of oil, ensure that there's not a lot of supply out there, because if there is a supply glut, then prices will drop. So, but not production like they've been doing since 2014, then you can still manage to keep the price above $50 and all of that, and then countries can survive. But I really don't know. It's a tough game. Nigeria has no choice, and the problem for us here is, even though we cut, I really don't even know what we're cutting, because we hardly even meet our production quota. Every year, when you read the budget, they'll tell you Nigeria has to produce 2.2 million barrels of oil.
At the beginning of the year, we talked about
we don't even hit it.
The possibility of them building more refineries.
So at least that one is, let's get refineries down to even refine our crude. The crude that we're even producing, we don't even meet the quota that we want. So, and already the country has physical issues, because we can't generate enough revenue from other sources except oil. So we face a dire situation. So whether we cut or not, we're not even meeting the production level. I guess Mele just likes being in the news too. I mean,
I guess
it has to be. I mean, you need to have material for his. Trevor Noah's lapel pin says, "Ugo, you said it earlier on Business Express, not freshly pressed."
All right, okay, let's move on to our next story. Oh, do you want to take
Yes, please. Lady Rose says, good morning. Meanwhile, are these cars for our lawmakers going to be purchased from a local manufacturer? They say later this same government will tell us how they are supporting local manufacturing. Such double standards.
They should ban it.
Maybe there should be an FX restriction on
no, don't go there. Don't go there.
All right, let's go on to our next story. Buhari visits IDPs, says, I'm aware of your suffering. So the President, Muhammadu Buhari, yesterday visiting internally displaced persons in Batsari local government area of Katsina State. He visited 1,050 of them, and he's just shared, emphasized with them, and talked about how he feels about it. Please, Funmi, tell us the details of this.
So this is, well, to me, this is one of the best things that best stories that we've had in a very long time. I mean, his physical presence at the IDP camps speaks volumes. Much more than ever, I think they would believe now that at least Nigeria is working towards keeping them safe, whether it's whether they see the action or not. The president and commander-in-chief of the armed forces coming to speak to them and tell them. And then when the news even gets to other IDP camps that maybe he didn't physically visit, it uplifts their spirits as well. And then the story, the very heartwarming part of the story is the report about some of the things that he said, and I would read them. So the president is reported to have engaged the IDPs and told them that those that were engaging in kidnapping and maiming and calling on God were not true Islamic faithfuls. He declared, and these are his words, it is either they don't know God or they disagree with him. All those whose activity is to kill people and are saying Allah are lying because God is not wicked. You can't carry bomb or gun, sword or knife to go and kill innocent somebody and say Allah Akbar. It implies that you either don't believe in God or you don't know what you're saying. And so when you have this from a president who is also a Muslim, it's a very strong statement, very very powerful statement. It might not have it. This might not be a story about catching a number of Boko Haram terrorists or freeing some of our kidnapped girls, which we are praying will still happen. But this is a very very strong statement, and I'm hoping to see more of this.
Thank you.
Fantastic. Punch newspaper has this next story. This one is for you, Ugo Dre. NNPC deepens collaboration to tackle oil spill. So the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation and the National Oil Spill Detection and Response Agency have expressed their willingness to work together to form a sort of a bromance, to ensure that the oil spillage is a thing of the past. A lot of money has been wasted due to this not being checked for over time. But Kyari made a statement. He says, and I quote, "We have taken a number of steps to stem oil spill by deploying technology in order to make sure that whenever there is an oil spill incident, it is contained almost immediately." I would like to know what technology he's making mention of. But Ugo, what are your thoughts on this story?
Yeah, important statement. Like merely in the news again, saying all the right things in quote. So we all know oil spills. It's been an issue for Nigeria over the years. We're still dealing with the Ogoni issue, and oil spills come in a number of ways. It could even be through flaring, through maybe pipeline vandalizations. Or tankers, spilling oil, and we all know the dangers this thing poses. So NOSDRA, excuse me, which is National Oil Spill Detection and Response Agency, and is basically trying to work with NNPC, of course, the biggest, government-owned oil corporation in Nigeria, to see how they can stem oil spills in the country. It's still one of those, remarks from, feel-good remarks from government. I just hope that technologies like this are not just one of those things that you just mentioned, so that you can just, have some contracts.
Yes.
People just, sign contracts and say, oh, we've deployed software.
A magic software.
Yeah, but softwares like this basically just help control oil spillage, or at least reduce it. The kind of technology they can deploy to determine where to produce oil and to avoid spillage. I hope that this is not just all talk. This is not just two government officials coming together and feeling good with themselves and just making a splash in the papers, and they really take this seriously, because we have suffered a lot from oil spillage in Nigeria, either through long-term environmental issues that it causes, or fire outbreak. Because sometimes the ones that makes the news the most are the ones that when you see tankers that burn due to oil spillage and all that splashes. But the ones that are actually more worrying are the ones that cause environmental issues, long-term environmental issues, so people who live around close to oil spillage areas.
All right, thank you very much, Ugo. And that is very interesting. Although I recall at certain points they had mentioned that most of these private companies, international companies, oil companies, who should really or have the responsibility to protect some of these pipelines and the routes they pass through.
There was one data that was reading. I think 50% of oil spills occur from tanker accidents.
Exactly. So it goes back to the conditions of our roads. Somebody mentioned to us this morning how he had an avoidable accident due to the bad roads that were still speaking up. Let's move on now to the Guardian newspaper for this next story, and I'll come to you, Adenike, for your analysis. Lagos cabinet member-designate Joe Igbokwe speaks against bike-hailing firms. He made some strong points here in his argument, putting statistics forward, saying that whether you call it a brand name, this and that, it's still Okada. And the fact that we're having a high density of cars or automobiles in Nigeria should be a cause for concern. But adding Okadas to that is a problem. That instead of the government to invest that kind of money that is given to these private establishments to fund their business,
the government give the private people money?
I wonder, but it's an indication here. But your thoughts on this story?
I have a very respect for my elders, so let's go by what Guardian newspaper says. You laid the foundation, but I feel like we must remember that under the Fashola administration, I remember very clearly that because of the incessant accidents and crashes, there was actually an Okada ward, established at the National Orthopedic Hospital in Igbobi. And every time you go there back then, it was just horrendous sights.
And there was a ban in 2012.
Exactly. So they banned them from over 500 roads within Lagos. They're a menace, let's be honest with ourselves. But in a state where infrastructure has not grown and the population has quadrupled since the last time the infrastructure was made, so it was just a few places here and there that roads have been expanded. We kind of understand what it is that Joe Igbokwe is saying. However, what his grouse is, and I'm quoting him, he says, noted that if we allow free rein to operate, bike hailing service will jeopardize the government's investment in BRT. Instead of partnering with the government on BRT, you invested $5.3 million in Okada business and expect that the Lagos State government will allow you to jeopardize its multi-billion naira mass transit investment. And I have a lot of questions for Mr. Igbokwe. Like your first line was he's now a part of Sanwo-Olu-led government. So it kind of feels like that's a reflection of what the government is, and that's what the government is thinking. So if the government is thinking that, why did it take them this long? What happens to collecting the fees and the licensing and the many taxes that these businesses have paid? About 3 of them that are popular. And just maybe yesterday or 2 days ago, one of them actually shut operation. Why? Because the chairman or the founder, whatever it is, actually did use order a ride on one of the apps, on the app, and noticed that there was a technical problem on the app, and also the rider couldn't get to the location. So the guy just shut down and said, you know what, we're just going to shut down for self-development. Apart from that, we've seen about 2 of them raise a minimum of $5.3 million to infuse into this industry. And one of them has trained nothing less than 1,000 motorcyclists and has made over 1 million rides from the time that they were established over 2 years ago.
And what does that imply? That people would rather use that as a medium of transportation, right?
The traffic in Lagos is such a bad state. Google had to infuse the Okada into our maps for people who have not noticed. And they started this a few weeks ago. So when you search on Google Maps,
you can pick an option.
You will see leg, Okada, car. Train. You just see the process and train. So it raises a lot of questions. If we are saying that we are too tush, we're a metropolitan city for bike hailing services. So I'm saying, what do we expect that this funding? Some people, it's a crowdfunding for people who have established them. So what happened? Why did you allow it? Why did you license them in the first
Then
instance?
again, Adenike, whatever happened to the restriction on certain routes?
We
still find them on Lekki Ikoyi
under
Bridge.
the Ambode administration, we
Just
all
feels,
know that it just felt like everybody went mum. Nobody said anything. From the time that Fashola banned them, and then Ambode came on board and was doing.
I think also there's also the criteria for which bikes can fly these
the
routes.
machines, the
Capacities.
capacity a lot of the time, or to fly certain routes, particularly that Lekki, the Plaza toll.
Yes.
It was a lot of people who do delivery businesses. You hardly will find commercial motorcyclists ply that route until these bike hailing companies came, and then they increased their capacity. So Mr. Joe Igbokwe has brought this up, and I'm hoping that the state government will come up and answer these questions. What happens now? If this is a reflection of what the government feels at the polls, does it mean that they want to stop them? If they intend to stop them, should they consider how many people will be out of job?
Yes, and then the repercussion is exactly a very strong point there, and ease of doing business. Funmi, okay.
just very, yes. I think it's very worrying because we're not talking about banning Okadas because of health grounds or because of accidents. We're talking about anger because private people decided to invest in a particular type of business and not BRT and not the bus business. So it goes to a lot about free enterprise in Lagos State. If we're going to attract investors, if there's going to be free enterprise, when the mindset of the government is already clearly showing that once I hear that you are getting a lot of money and a lot of investments, I'm coming after you, it's extremely worrying.
It is
It's
worrying.
called Belus.
It's called what?
Belus.
Sorry, give him the mic.
It's called Belus.
Can you break that down, please? So we can
Okay,
add
don't
it to
worry.
our dictionary. Special thanks to you, Ugo Dre, for staying back after Business Express to join us for Freshly Pressed 91. At Funmi Odude, at the same name on Twitter. Adenike Oyetunde is at Adenike Oyetunde. Thank you so much. Next, we talk entertainment inside of the grapevine.
Turn
Good
up my
morning.
next, I won't say gossip. And this morning I didn't intend to say gossip. Thank you.
Funny thing with this stupid Lagos state government is that all